That's their big idea? A phone with no keys.
Good luck typing an email on that.
Let them chase the hype. We'll stick with what works.
In 2007, BlackBerry laughed at the iPhone. Today, Apple is worth over $3 trillion. BlackBerry sells cybersecurity software. And it wasn't lack of talent that killed BlackBerry. It wasn't money. It wasn't even technology. It was one belief, one assumption, one decision they refused to question. This story isn't about phones. It's about how smart companies collapse. Not because they're stupid, but because they're confident. Because success makes you blind. And the thing that made you win becomes the reason you lose. By the end of this video, you'll see the exact moment BlackBerry sealed its fate, the meeting where they dismissed the future, and why almost every industry giant is making the same mistake right now. This device wasn't just a phone. It was the most indispensable object in the hands of presidents, CEOs, and global power brokers. Its keyboard didn't just define productivity, it defined identity. BlackBerry users typed faster than anyone on Earth. They felt invincible. By 2007, BlackBerry controlled more than half of the entire US smartphone market. Its dominance was unquestioned. Its future looked unshakable. But underneath the empire was a fragile architecture. An entire global network routed through BlackBerry's own servers. A single point of power and a single point of failure. And then, on a typical Tuesday in San Francisco, everything changed. Steve Jobs stepped onto the stage to introduce a device. BlackBerry engineers believed it was physically impossible to build. A phone with no keyboard, no stylus, no physical buttons. Just a sheet of glass powered by a chip designed for multi-touch computing, years ahead of the industry. Publicly, BlackBerry executives dismissed the iPhone as a toy. But internally, engineers admitted something alarming. Apple had solved problems BlackBerry believed were unsolvable. That night, the war unofficially began. But inside this building, few understood that Apple had just lit the fuse on one of the fastest corporate collapses in modern history. To the public, BlackBerry mocked the iPhone. But behind closed doors, executives struggled to hide something more dangerous than fear. Denial. BlackBerry's entire software stack was built on hardware too weak to run a modern touchscreen interface. They hadn't invested in power. They invested in battery life, security, and email. Inside RIM, one assumption reigned supreme. People would never give up physical keyboards. This belief would become one of the most expensive miscalculations in tech history. BlackBerry bought off-the-shelf processors. Apple engineered its own silicon. This single decision made the iPhone shockingly fast and nearly impossible to imitate. An internal email surfaced. One engineer wrote, "If Apple's demo is real, we're years behind." Years. RIM had a split culture. Engineers built products, but business leaders controlled decisions. When the two stopped listening to each other, innovation froze. As the iPhone hit shelves, the press declared it the future. BlackBerry didn't realize these headlines were not hype. They were forecasts. Investors noticed something before BlackBerry did. The market began shifting, slowly at first. Users saw something BlackBerry leadership refused to acknowledge. The future wasn't faster email. It was touchscreen interaction. Inside RIM, morale cracked. Engineers knew the uncomfortable truth. BlackBerry couldn't simply build an iPhone. Their entire architecture made it nearly impossible. Even as engineers panicked, RIM executives publicly mocked Apple. They believed the iPhone was fragile, overpriced, and destined to fail. RIM tried to respond, but their experimental touchscreen models stuttered, froze, and overheated. The system simply wasn't built for touch. Carriers once loyal to BlackBerry began shifting their attention. Customers wanted the iPhone, and carrier followed customers. Then, Apple unveiled the App Store, a software ecosystem BlackBerry had no architecture to support. It wasn't just a phone war anymore, it was a platform war. Developers followed the momentum. The iPhone offered tools, profits, and creative freedom. BlackBerry offered none of these. In desperation, BlackBerry rushed out the storm, a phone with a touchscreen that physically clicked. Reviewers called it the worst smartphone launch of the decade. Storm units crashed so often that some Verizon stores saw return rates above 50%. BlackBerry's reputation cracked in real time. Verizon had bet heavily on the storm. After the disaster, they blamed BlackBerry and shifted their support to Android. Then the unthinkable happened. BlackBerry's centralized server network collapsed, leaving millions without email or messaging. Governments, banks, corporations, offline. Trust, the foundation of BlackBerry's empire, evaporated overnight, and once trust disappears, it doesn't return. Under pressure, BlackBerry's dual CEO structure turned toxic. Decisions slowed, priorities clashed. The company was fighting two wars, one against Apple and one against itself. Engineers were pushed to patch a decade-old system never designed for modern apps. The cracks grew wider. Morale collapsed. As Android and iPhone surged, BlackBerry's market share collapsed from 20% to single digits. In a desperate move, BlackBerry launched the Playbook, a tablet missing core features, including email, the one thing BlackBerry was famous for. The press, once loyal, turned brutal. Reviews described the Playbook as a half-built product rushed out the door. Even BlackBerry's legendary security began slipping. As systems aged, vulnerabilities surfaced, eroding the final pillar of trust. Then Apple made its most strategic move, targeting the corporate world, BlackBerry's last stronghold. When corporations switched to iPhone, it wasn't a trend, it was a migration, tens of thousands of devices at a time. Charts revealed the unfiltered truth. BlackBerry wasn't declining, it was free-falling. In a matter of months, BlackBerry lost tens of billions in market value. The empire that once seemed untouchable was collapsing faster than anyone imagined. With the company collapsing, BlackBerry attempted a complete reboot, a new operating system, a new vision, a new promise. BlackBerry 10 was modern, fluid, and elegant. But behind the beauty was a fatal problem. It was years too late. BlackBerry launched its new OS without the one thing modern users needed: apps. Developers had moved on, and they weren't coming back. As losses mounted, BlackBerry's longtime co-CEOs resigned, leaving behind a company torn apart by internal conflict and external pressure. The Z10 was supposed to save BlackBerry. Instead, it became one of the biggest inventory write-offs in the company's history. From Europe to Asia to South America, the world moved on. The smartphone landscape had changed, and BlackBerry no longer fit inside it. Even government agencies, the last defenders of BlackBerry, switched to iPhone. Security alone was no longer a competitive advantage. Investors demanded answers and accountability. But by then, the damage was irreversible. BlackBerry's stock collapsed to a fraction of its former value. $80 billion in market capitalization erased. The world didn't notice the exact moment BlackBerry died, but symbolically, it happened one user at a time. After the fall, BlackBerry's headquarters grew quieter. Hallways that once buzzed with ambition now echoed with what-ifs. Insiders said the company didn't lose because of Apple's brilliance alone, but because BlackBerry refused to evolve. The greatest danger to any successful company is believing success will last forever. Apple didn't just build a phone, it built an ecosystem. Hardware, software, and services engineered as one machine. While Apple leaped forward every year, BlackBerry fought to defend the past. Innovation slowed, risk-taking died. The gap widened until it became a canyon. This wasn't a war of devices. It was a war of philosophies, one embracing the future, one clinging to the past. But BlackBerry did not vanish. It transformed from consumer phones to enterprise security, a quiet survivor in a different world. The fall of BlackBerry is not just a corporate tragedy. It's a reminder that technology doesn't reward nostalgia. It rewards reinvention. In the end, BlackBerry didn't lose to Apple. It lost to time and to its own belief that tomorrow would look like yesterday. This is how an empire ended. Quietly, and then completely.